Hey guys, Ponce here on the PvE, here to show you guys a preview of all the new items which have been included in the preseason 2016 patch so far. Notice I've said so far and new items only, so I'm not talking about any of the items that have received like balance changes, cost adjustments, etc, etc. This is just stuff that's purely new or essentially new. And also note that this is very early on, so who knows if these items stay the same, if they go in at all, or if there's going to be more items added or what. But we got a lot to cover, so the video's probably going to take a while, so let's get started. But first off, before we do that, one more thing. Let's thank Dominik for helping us make this custom game here. Need multiple people to get into a game, so yeah. Anyway, refillable potion. This is one of the new starting items. As you can see, limited to one type of healing potion, so you can get that. However, it locks you out of buying any kind of like extra health potions or anything like that. So once I purchase this, what it does for 150 gold, consumes a charge to restore 100 health over 10 seconds. Holds up to 2 charges and refills upon visiting the shop. So yeah, that's kind of a basic item there. Kind of crappy, but it does upgrade into several things. One of them being Corrupting Potion. So this thing also limited to one type of healing potion. It costs 500 gold total, so the upgrade costs 350 here, as you can see. Unique Active. Consumes a charge to restore 150 health and 50 mana over 12 seconds and grants Corrupting Touch. During that time, holds up to 3 charges that refills upon visiting the shop. So what does Corrupting Touch do, you might ask? Well, spells and attacks burn enemy champions for 5 to 10 magic damage over 3 seconds. Half damage for area of effect, and damage over time spells. Damage increases with champion level. Corrupting Potion can be used even at full health, or even if you have full health or mana. So if you want like that, the Corrupting Touch buff, it doesn't matter if you have full health. You can, if for whatever reason you want that, you can still do it. Incidentally, I should mention, I don't want to talk about previous items and, like, again, previous item balance too much, but I should mention that Crystalline Flask simply just doesn't exist anymore. It's been removed from the game. So Crystalline Flask 3-pot start is no longer a thing. Is this better than that? Probably not. It is, like, as an item itself, it is slightly better. Crystalline Flask, I believe, healed for 120 HP. This thing heals for 150. So each charge you're getting 30 extra HP times 3. Wait, so it's 30 extra HP. Yeah, times 3 charges. So 90 extra total. But 3 extra potions over time would have given you 150 times 3. So 450 is how much these potions here would have given you. Incidentally, price increase, but that's balanced. So let's not talk about that. Yeah, so let me just show you something. So if I buy this, it's not like I can go back and then suddenly buy a refillable potion, because I'm limited to 1. So let's just undo all that stuff. So we have money to work with. The other item is Hunter's Potion. Costs 400 gold total. Upgrade, another upgrade from refillable potion, and limited to one type of healing potion. Again, similar thing. Unique Active. Consumes a charge to restore 60 health and 35 mana over 8 seconds. Holds up to 5 charges and refills upon visiting the shop. Killing a large monster grants 1 charge, and killing a large monster at full charges will automatically consume the newest charge. So kind of an alternate jungle start item, I suppose. I don't know how viable this is. Like, it doesn't seem as good as just getting a machete, but it's something, I suppose. I suppose it requires a bit more testing in terms of what would make it good and all that stuff, or viable. But it's an option. Anyway, let's move on to something other than potions, something slightly more exciting. Let's go to coffee. That's how you spell it. Caulfield's hammer, not Caulfield's hammer. So what this is essentially a replacement to Brutalizer. It's cheaper, 237 gold cheaper to be exact, except it doesn't come with the 10% flat armor penetration, and all the stuff, it builds into a whole bunch of new things, but also anything that used to build out of Brutalizer now builds out of this thing. Now, Brutalizer was a weird item. It was kind of like an old school mid-lane power spike kind of item. And kind of, I guess, League of Legends has moved away from that to an extent. So it's simply gone. More importantly, I suppose, is that Death Dance now builds out of this. This is a completely new item. And let's move around just so I don't get disconnected from the game. And there's really no analog to this in current League of Legends. I can't really, think of an example. It builds out of this, the Warhammer, the Pickaxe, and the Vamp Scepter. Costs 3,400 gold total, gives 65 attack damage total, 10% cooldown reduction, and comes with a couple of really interesting passives. Dealing physical damage, heals for 12% of the damage dealt, 33% effectiveness from multi-target spells. And another passive, 20% of the damage taken is dealt as a bleeding effect over 5 seconds instead. So that's pretty weird. I guess the closest thing I can think of off the top of my head would be that legendary gem from Diablo 3. But this is not Diablo 3, so let's not talk about that one. It's basically got some sort of physical damage spell vamp thing. Because it says just dealing physical damage, period. So auto attack. So it's like a hybrid spell vamp slash lifesteal kind of stat thing. So that's sort of interesting. Looks like it's an item for sort of bruiserish fightery types who want some durability and just also damage as well. So I don't know. I might want to experiment with this on Jaurim personally, see how that works. Because I play a lot of Jaurim. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to another item called Cull. Not my favorite item in the game, but it's another starting option. As you can see, it doesn't build into anything, but an alternative to the various Doran's items. Costs 450 health, 450 gold, 5 attack damage, and plus 3 life on hit. So a little bit like Doran's Blade, except it comes with the passive. Killing a minion grants 1 additional health. Killing 100 minions grants an additional 300 bonus gold immediately and disables this passive. So basically, you go to 100 minions, you get a gold explosion, and then you sell the item back, is the idea, I suppose. So actually, if you sell the item back and you factor in all the passive and everything like that, you actually make gold with this money. I guess maybe some AD carries might want to make this. If your playstyle is more just sitting back and farming and not fighting, I suppose this is good for you. But again, it's not my favorite. So yeah, let's move on to Eye of. Well, there's a whole bunch of eye items, as you can see right here. They're all, what they are is they're basically support items that build out of the various, basic or second tier support items. So the support items, again, I don't want to talk about old items too much, but they still build into their, the thing you can build before. So for example, Frostfang builds into Frost Queen's Claim, and Nomad's Medallion still builds into Talisman Ascension, etc., etc., etc. But now, since supports tend to get Sightstone anyway, what you can do is combine the Sightstone with the support item for an extra efficient item. So let's again start with the Equinox one. There's nothing too exciting going on here. I'm not even going to read it out, but basically it combines the two items, their effects. So you get the Sightstone passive, or Sightstone active with the support item passive, and it improves the stats slightly. So it makes it sort of slot efficient, I suppose. So let's just kind of quickly look over all of them. Oasis is the other one. So that one is the Nomad's Medallion plus Sightstone. Those are your stats right there. If you're interested, press the screenshot button right now, and you can look at it at your own leisure. But again, it's simply just sort of combining the two items and making them slightly better. And so this is Eye of the Watcher, the Frostfang plus Sightstone. Alright, so that's it for new items there. Now here's the one item that's technically not a new item, but we're going to kind of cover slightly more extensively, is Executioner's Calling. It's back. So for those of you who played League of Legends back in the days of yore, this is an old item. They brought it back, and it doesn't look like the most exciting thing ever, but then you look at the passive, and it says Executioner. Physical damage inflicts grievous wounds on enemy champions for 3 seconds. Costs 800 gold, and gives 15 total attack damage. Now, it's really weird that they're bringing this back, because sort of the idea behind this item, it was sort of completely worthless or really, really good, because it would completely shut down anyone who's dependent on healing. For example, like Soraka, Mundo and his ult, stuff like that, and it would just kind of destroy them. So I'm curious to see how this will work in the general sort of balance of the game, of the new Season 6. And next we have this next item, Mortal Reminder, but we need to walk around first so we don't get disconnected. So yeah, Last Whisper now upgrades into several different items, and we'll go over the other one in a minute. But yeah, Mortal Reminder costs 2,500 gold total and builds out of Executioner's Calling plus aforementioned Last Whisper. gives 40 total attack damage, and comes with the Grievous Wounds passive. Actually, I probably should explain Grievous Wounds, since it's been like so long since it was kind of actually a thing in the game. But yeah, it cuts healing in half. All sources of healing. So that's outside heals, regen, lifesteal, all, anything at all. Now, I should probably point out also that it doesn't count life gain. So stuff like Lulu's ult, like you're just gaining HP, you're not actually healing HP, so it doesn't affect stuff like that. So when you upgrade it to Mortal Reminder, the duration of Grievous Wound goes up to 5 seconds from 3 seconds. And it also actually upgrades the Last Whisper passive, the armor penetration, by an extra 10%, up to 40%. So that's pretty crazy. Just kind of Last Whisper is the sort of thing you build a lot on AD carries anyway. It's pretty rare that people don't build armor at all. Now it's even better, and it comes with a Grievous Wounds effect. So that's like, if there's a healing effect in the game, it would make a lot of sense to just end up getting this item. And yeah, it's going to do scary things for healing, or anyone who's dependent on regen, stuff like that. Alright, so let's move on to another item in a second here. We're going to do the Giant Slayer. So this one builds out of a long sword, costs 1,000 gold, and gives a total of 10 attack damage. So it actually doesn't give any sort of base stats, but it does give you access to this passive. Giant Slayer grants up to 10% damage against enemy champions with greater maximum health than you, plus 1% damage per 50 health difference, maxing at 500 health difference. So yeah, like designed for low HP, like AD carries or assassins, or really anything facing a lot of high HP targets. Probably the more interesting thing about the item, though, is that, again, it combines with Last Whisper to create Lord Dominik's Regards. So that's also 2,500 gold, 40 attack damage. Also comes with that upgraded 40 bonus armor penetration. However, the Giant Slayer passive is upgraded. Grants up to 15% damage against enemies champions with greater maximum health than you. 1.5 damage for 50 health difference, maxing at 500 HP. So yeah, this is really like an HP stacking, armor stacking kind of shredding destroyer item. Like, those heavy tanks kind of have nowhere to hide, I suppose. Makes sense, I suppose, given that people have been complaining a lot about tanky and tank champions for a while, and that AD carries are quote-unquote useless or whatever. Regardless of what you think about that statement, this is certainly one of the things they'll be dealing with, that coupled with the various AD carry changes. So a lot of interesting balance implications here, again, between that and the marksman balance changes. Alright, next we have Hunter's Talisman. So much like Hunter's Machete, this is another jungler starting item. Sort of. I don't want to really talk again about these upgraded items because they exist in the game already, but to get the upgraded jungler items, now you need the Machete and the Talisman. You buy them both, they combine into the upgraded thing. So this thing, it's hard to see the price, but it's 350. And it basically gives mana regen. Well, it does give mana regen, unlike the Hunter's Machete, which gives lifesteal here. I don't want to talk about Hunter's Machete too much because, again, it's not a new item. But I don't know if this is intended to be an alternate starting item for some champions, or simply something you get eventually to upgrade into the next tier of jungler item, or what's going on here, but that certainly exists. Now, the one upgraded jungler item that does exist, or that is completely new, is this thing here called the Tracker's Knife. And this is weird in the sense that it doesn't give an upgraded smite type. Like, unlike the other ones, like it doesn't give a blue smite or a red smite. You just get normal smite, presumably. But instead you get access to a ward, an extra warding trinket, essentially. It sounds kind of crappy on sort of, an initial hearing or reading. But you have to also keep in mind that they've changed vision this season, how it works. You can't actually buy green wards anymore. Yeah, wards primarily come from trinkets and like sight zones and stuff like that. So this is an interesting addition to the game. We'll see how it ends up working out or what they do with it. Okay, what is the next item? It is Jaurim's Fist. There we go. Going in pseudo-alphabetical order here. Whoops. So that's the item there. Costs 1,040 gold. Builds out of a longsword and a ruby crystal. Gives 15 attack damage and 150 health. So basically, it more or less gives just the base stats from this plus 5 extra damage, but gives unique passive. Killing a unit grants 5 maximum health. This bonus stacks up to 30 times. Now, if you do the rather simple math there, it means it gives you an extra 300 or 150 health for a total of 300 health on the item. So it's kind of a bit like sort of a melee, or rather a physical damage, a Seeker's Arm Guard kind of thing. And it actually upgrades into several items, which kind of makes sense in terms of just sort of making it a slightly more unique build path. Sterix Gauge, Frozen Mallet, and Titanic Hydra, which are all old items, so we don't want to talk about those. Next, we're going to go with, what is this thing? Kerchay's, what the hell? Kerchay's Shard. So I do need to mention the dagger. The cost has been lowered, and the amount of attack speed you get has also been lowered. But it now builds into this thing here, Kerchay's Shard, for 15% attack speed. So like the same amount of attack speed as the old dagger, but costs a grand total of 750, and comes with a couple of interesting passives. Moving and attacking will make an attack energized. Unique passive, Energized Strike. Your energized attack deals 30 bonus magic damage on hit. So let's just buy it so you can see. It's actually, yeah, see, there you go. There's that thing happening right there. It's charging up. So let's just undo that. Now, it still builds into Static Shiv, but also builds into Rapid Fire Cannon, which incidentally also builds out of the Zeal, the Shard combo. So I imagine they might be doing something with Static Shiv, just kind of a hunch. But because Rapid Fire Cannon has a very similar kind of, or they have very similar base stats to the Static Shiv. It costs 2,500 gold total, 30 attack speed, 30% crit, 8 movement speed. Slightly different, but very similar. And also stacks up with a movement thing, goes up to 100 presumably, and has the unique passive Fire Cannon. Your energized attacks deal 30% bonus range, up to 150 range maximum, and deals 50 to 200 bonus magic damage based on your level on hit. Also, energized attacks function on structures. So this definitely, I mean, the picture here is a gun, so that's, I suppose it's a given that they want ranged champions to use this. I mean, it's more of a ranged focused item, and I don't know if the extra range passive works with melee champions. Presumably it would. It just wouldn't work as well since it's a percent. So I don't know. For example, Jarvan's attack range is what? It's like 175 or something like that. So it would just increase very slightly. Whereas a ranged who has 500-600 auto attack range would get a whole bunch of range on like this one extra long sniper shot from Rapid Fire Cannon. I believe certain champions like outrange towers when you do that for like one shot, which is pretty interesting. Now, keep in mind the trade-off here is that unlike Static Shiv, you don't get an AoE shock damage thing, and it doesn't crit. So it is less damage, but you get extra range. Also slightly different stats. All right. The next item we want to look at is actually the last one, the Dark Seal. So we're ending on a not so exciting note, and again, I don't want to talk about item rebalances. That's for the next video, or maybe not next, but I'll make one at some point. Medjai Soul Stealer. We'll hover it over briefly, but that's been changed. And it now builds out of this item here, Dark Seal. So this almost looks like kind of a starting item, especially, with the whole potions thing. But yeah, Dark Seal, 400 gold, 15 ability power, 25% increased healing from potions, 100 extra mana. Unique passive, Dread, grants 2 ability power per glory. Unique passive, Do or Die, grants 3 glory for a champion kill or 1 glory for an assist, up to 10 glory total. Loses 6 glory on death. So yeah, just kind of like a mini crappy Magi's, which has also been reworked. So yeah, definitely looks like a starting item. Let's not buy it, but interesting. I'm kind of thinking of who you'd want to buy that on. Maybe like someone who is like safe, like a mid lane mage that's safe, that you expect to like get a lot of early kills on, or something like that. Let's compare it actually to the Doran's Ring. That's still in game, right, I believe. Yeah, Doran's Ring is still in game. Frankly, if you're going to build Magi's, it's simply a better option. But yeah, it's kind of a weird addition. I don't know what to think about that too much. Anyway, that's it for now. Also, if you're wondering why I'm flashing like this, the game is gone for more than 20 minutes, and you get free home guards after 20 minutes, which is pretty interesting. So once again, thank you to Dom and Kat. Appreciate his assistance here. If you want updated video on various item changes, sort of item reworks, cost changes, etc. I will be doing a video on that as well. But yeah, that's it for new items. Thanks for watching, everyone. I got a lot more to cover on the Season 6 changes. For example, like a gameplay on various AD carry reworks, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to get the hell out of here. Thanks for watching again. Goodbye.